My name is Sheena with the Way of Namaste, and today I wanted to come on and share a Celtic Cross tarot spread while we are navigating Gene Key 4. This one happens to be in my hologenetic profile, and this is the shadow of intolerance, the gift of understanding, and the city or the divine expression of forgiveness. So as we drop into this moment of contemplation together, I invite you to soften your gaze or close down your eyes if it's available for you, and just begin to tune in, noticing the quality of your breath, noticing how you're feeling in this moment. Maybe this was the first time all day you've checked in to notice how you're feeling. So let's go ahead and bring some loving awareness into our breath. And take the biggest breath that we've taken all day long, in through the nose. And breathing maybe out through the mouth. Setting the intention that we let something go. We release some tension. And we add more love. We add more gentle awareness, maybe into any places or spaces in our body where we feel some stagnancy. Let's just go ahead and send our energy, our breath there. And notice how it changes, how it shifts, the power of our breath. So this week as we navigate Gene Key 4, this is the shadow of intolerance. And society is always going to reflect our shadow back to us. Or I should say is oftentimes going to reflect the collective shadow back to us. And it gives us an opportunity to tune in and notice, where am I intolerant of myself, of my behaviors, my quirks or my eccentricities? And where am I intolerant of others? We say that we're a pretty accepting group, us humans, but are we? Most of us have some kind of opinion or judgment or complaint. And this Gene Key invites us to consider what it might be like if we didn't make one single complaint all day long. If we saw the cup half full, if the sun was always out, the smile was always on our face. Would this be the life we think and imagine it would be? Or do you think we'd still find some chaos and some drama? When we think about settling down, many of us might think of that as a lower vibration, settling. Oh, he's settling. It might have this idea of being boring, not exciting. But many of us are outgrowing the chaos of drama. And settling down doesn't sound so bad. Settling for a quiet life sounds pretty good. So this gift of understanding is about accepting what just is without desiring it to be different. And when we can live in this space of understanding, we can have a zoomed out perspective. So we don't just see one side of a situation, but we can entertain all sides. We can start to see how life is happening more than our ego-driven agendas with our timetables and our calendars and our budgets. And when we can think beyond the linear time-space, we can start to entertain an acceptance that sometimes life just lifes. It's not personal. A storm just comes. Turbulent weather just happens. And from this gift of understanding, we can start offering that kind of acceptance to life and to one another. We can open up to this divine realm of forgiveness, which brings us right out of the teachings of Yeshua, of Christ consciousness. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. As we begin to awaken, as we experience our ascension, we begin to forgive others because it helps to lighten the load for us. Because so much about forgiveness is about what we've been holding on to. And so this divine expression this week, it's about letting it go. It's about accepting what just is and accepting life for how it unravels for us and making the best of it. So with this Celtic Cross reading, we begin at the heart of the matter with the Two of Cups. And the core of this reading is about connection. It's about union that's honest and reciprocal. And this is actually the codon ring of union. So in the shadow of Gene Key 4, intolerance often arises when we project unmet needs onto the other. The Two of Cups is the reminder that relationship harmony comes when both cups are self-filled. So love is offered freely, rather than demanded, rather than expected. So our challenge or our opportunity this week is the 10 of Cups. And so the challenge is really that we have this dream of perfection, this ultimate happiness that may or may not match our current reality. So in terms of this week's Gene Key, the more we cling to an ideal, the more intolerance creeps in when life feels like it's falling short of that. So our opportunity this week is to soften our grip on the picture-perfect ending and to savor the messy beauty of what is here now. Where we're coming from is the 9 of Swords. So this is the lingering echo of sleepless nights, overthinking, and mental suffering, the classic shadow terrain. In the path of this gift of understanding, this card marks the threshold you're crossing, where we're moving from self-punishment to self-compassion. What we're conscious of right now is the Ace of Pentacles. Your active mind is seeking tangible beginnings, planting a seed in the material world. This reflects the gift frequency of understanding, bringing insight into form. So it looks like you're ready to invest energy into something real, something sustainable, and potentially long-lasting. We also have the Venus-Jupiter conjunction right now, today and yesterday, which marks a really beautiful alignment of planetary support in the themes of love and beauty and prosperity and connection. So this is a great time to be really declaring and claiming that divine inheritance that we want to call in. So what's coming up for us in the future is the 7 of Pentacles. So this is around our patience. This is around the slow growth stage where understanding is maturing into forgiveness. So here we've got a card about tending your own garden and trusting that the seeds you planted will bear fruit in their own season. But the day we plant the seed is not the day it bears us the fruit. So can we be patient and trust That as we put the work in, as we do things with planting the seeds and setting the intention, can we have the patience and the faith to trust in the process? So what's coming up in the unconscious is the Hermit card. So deep down, it looks like your soul is craving this inner wisdom and this quiet space, this retreat for some illumination. The Hermit in the unconscious position says that you're already seeking truth beyond surface stories, even if consciously you feel busy or outwardly focused. This is the forge where forgiveness is formed, in the private light of your own lantern. We don't need to be validated by everyone outside of us. These aha moments, these revelations, these happen in our own shadow work, in our own private practice, in our own quiet time. So there's a lot that's happening right now under the surface if we could simply trust and allow for this unconscious work to be doing its thing. So how we feel about all this, the querent is the chariot. So you might see yourself as someone determined to move forward, integrating opposing forces into focused momentum. So this shows you're aware of your willpower and your inner discipline, even when challenges come up and test you. It's the drive to rise above the shadow frequency. So you're a mover and a shaker. When things come and obstacles get in your way, you don't let them keep you down for long. And this is showing you that this is kind of where you're at right now. This is how you see yourself right now. So our environment is the Two of Wands. Let's say that your surroundings are offering you a horizon, a place of planning and visioning. So the environment is asking you to look beyond your current frame of reference and imagine new ways of being. You're supported right now to move from rigid thinking toward curiosity and exploration. And this Jupiter-Venus conjunction is the perfect time to be curious and to explore beyond the rigid thinking of what you have done, where you have been. And it's time to plant the seeds and imagine best case scenarios, imagine best possible outcomes. So our hopes and fears is the Sun card. You hope for joy, you hope for clarity, you hope for warmth, but you may fear what the light might reveal. So this gift of understanding can feel vulnerable because it strips away all protective illusions. And the Sun assures you that what's illuminated will ultimately nourish you. So we can be vulnerable when we become exposed. The light is where the wound isn't where the light enters. And so our outcome this week is the Four of Swords. So the likely resolution for now is to rest, is to take some quiet time for retreat and recovery. Remembering that forgiveness isn't a single act, it's actually a process of allowing your nervous system and your heart to settle. So may this next week be a pause, a moment for integration, a sacred stillness before you jump into the next chapter. In the city of forgiveness, there are no winners or losers. There's only the opportunity to step out of ego battles and into the liberation of letting go. So who is taking up a lot of inventory in your mind, in your thoughts, in your heart? And how can we make space for forgiveness? Even if it's not an overnight thing, how can we begin to make the space to forgive ourselves, to forgive others? This might be forgiving God, forgiving Creator, forgiving Source, forgiving this grand orderly design. And can we forgive if life hasn't gone how we expected it to go? And can we allow ourselves the forgiveness of all the past choices that brought us into this now moment? And can we start anew? Can we let this next breath be the start of a new life, a new timeline, a new way of being? One walked in forgiveness. So this week, may we release the need to be right. May we choose to see one another through the heart's eye. May our understanding dissolve all the walls and the barriers, and may our forgiveness be the bridge that unites us. May we see one another clearly. May we choose love and peace, recognizing this energy right here has the potential to stop all wars. This is the power of our words. We recognize the power of what we pay attention to, and that we create realities through our words. So when we create these kingdoms of beauty and love, darkness cannot enter. These spaces filled with pure light. And that's the invitation this week, to cultivate these places and spaces of love, of light, of forgiveness, especially for ourselves. Recognizing that when we know better, we do better. May we all have the gift of understanding to believe that each and every one of us is doing the best that we can with the tools that we have in this now moment. And when we know better, we will do better. I'm sending you so much love and so much light this week. Namaste.